Oh, it's so wicked fast. Hello, everyone. Happy Fierce Female Friday. It is the 19th of November. Can you believe it? We are halfway through the 11th month of 2021. Holy smokes. And I actually said 2023 today because I was talking to a sponsor about our 2022 event and that they could be talking about 2023 plans. And I was like, ah. It was a little wild, a little bit wild. All right, everyone, we are so thrilled to be here with all of you. We would, as always, we love to know where you're watching from today. So let us know. Are you home? Are you on the road? Over the last few weeks, we've been in Vegas together, a lot of us. We've been in San Diego. That's where we were together, even early, just as soon as this last Sunday, Monday. So let us know where you are. We'd love to connect with you. If you are a broker, agent, no matter what your role is, we always love to get connected with you as well. So feel free to drop your favorite way to get connected with you, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or your website. I love to see that. So feel free to share that with all of us. I'm going to get going here with some WomanUP updates. So obviously we're here today, but as I mentioned, we were in San Diego last week and lots of amazing things happened, including a true WomanUP moment. Leslie Rita Smith, who many of you have met at WomanUP conferences or in the hallways at other real estate conferences. She was installed as the 2022 NAR president. Whoop, whoop. And for the first time ever, NAR's leadership team is majority female. I think we need to raise our WomanUP mugs to that. Tink, tink, tink. Be sure to check out the article that Sarah shared on the Facebook group. There's obviously some great conversation underneath it, but it is an Inman Connect recap about it. And, there's Leslie Rita Smith's story in real estate is pretty spectacular, very what legacies are built on. And so we're going to hopefully see more of her around the community throughout 2022 in her new role. I'm sure she'll be highlighted and podcasted and all sorts of things. So stay tuned for that.
She wants to come. I spoke with her about coming to WomanUP 2022, and she is all in as long as the scheduling works out. So we've got in there early, and she loves WomanUP. She actually shared a story with me that she was with 3 other women, and the 4 of them, she asked them all, do you know where we met? And they were all looking at each other. She said, WomanUP 2019. Wow. That's a testament to the connections made.
Amen. Amen. Well, the women that are in the room at WomanUP are all spectacular. And I love that they're all spectacular at all different levels of their leadership game. Right. And what's so fun is we get to celebrate moments like this together because we have been in sisterhood in the same room. Speaking of celebrating and being with sisterhood and beloveds, next week is Thanksgiving. And no matter if you celebrate Friendsgiving or you don't celebrate any of that at all, but you still get together with your beloveds, we won't be here in person on the live show next Friday. However, we will be taking advantage of all the Friday deals, including there will be a WomanUP swag shop coupon that will go live that morning. It's holiday 2021. Of course, we'll share it again on email. Make sure you're on the email list. IamWomanUp.com. We'll also share it on the group. But we want to be able to help you fill stockings and all sorts of gift boxes for the leaders in your life. We've got some really cool swag in there. We're showing some of it. Obviously, we showed the mug. The mug comes in black as well. So if you want it in black, I also highly recommend this little pouch. Ooh. I love this. On one side, it says I am WomanUP. On the other side, it says, yes, WomanUP. You're like, oh, I didn't see that one.
That's my cool. Little laptop case.
I love that. And Leslie, what else? I know you've got another something over there.
Just my shirt and my mug.
Just my shirt.
I am the classic woman up here.
Well, and then this is new.
Just your
this
core
year.
products.
Well, I have the Woman Up t-shirt on too, although you can't see it through all this hair. The Woman Up, this is takes hot beverages and cold beverages, has the lid, so you can put a straw on there. This is one of my favorite things. I use that one.
You're saying you could put mimosas or coffee.
Yes, and no one needs to know what's inside it. Right. Just saying. So lots of great gifts and lots of things that are under $20. So if you've got the secret Santa exchanges, don't bring an ornament, bring something that says Woman Up on it. So anyways, we'll share that code again with all of you so you have fun with some Friday deals. And then on the 3rd of December, so the very first Monday in December, we actually have Serina Lowden joining us. She was another one of the fantastic ladies that joined us at Inman Connect. And we are going to be having a fantastic conversation about planning into the possibilities of 2022 with Serina. So looking forward to that. The 10th, so 12/10 is still a secret. We'll share that later. And then be sure to save 12/17. That's the last live show of the year. And we're going to do a virtual meetup here, 2 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be raising a glass. It can have coffee, tea, Aperol spritz, whatever you want in your glass. We're going to raise a cheers to the final show of the year. And we are going to pass the mic around kind of like we did in the Circle Up sessions so that we can hear your favorite lessons or your favorite win from 2021 so that we can all inspire each other as we step into next year, but strongly bid farewell and honor 2021 as it goes out. So again, join us on the 17th, have your favorite lesson or your biggest win, and get ready to say au revoir to 21 and welcome the possibilities of 2022 in. It's going to be great. So that's the 17th. Again, save the date. All right, Sarah, dropping the mic to you. What's going on in CAR?
Awesome. So we're off the heels of our Friday broker town hall. And if you are a broker in California and you want to be a part of these town halls, we give legal updates and legislative updates, and Jordan Levine took over for Leslie giving our market updates, but it is a really great way to network virtually with your colleagues every other Friday. I invite you to be a part of it. I heard the best testament to these, and it is the most inclusive broker call that we have and the most valuable. So I invite you to be a part of that. And that is just send me an email, Sarah S. I don't have an H. So Sarah S at car.org, and we'll get you on. Again, broker owner, risk manager, any executive broker leader. We would love for you to be there. So this call was all about the new RPA. Yes, we have a new RPA coming. No, we can't change the date because if we postpone the date for the new RPA, where would we be? In the peak season. So now this is downtime, sort of. It should be downtime for realtors. So we're offering classes on a weekly basis. So if you're interested, I'm going to pop a link in the chat and on Facebook on all things RPA for CAR, and it's dropping on December 14th. And next month, we have, and my cat just jumped on my desk. We have somebody coming from the DRE because we've been getting a lot of questions about DRE rules and timelines and transparency. So we're having a representative come on December 10th. Again, you can email me if you would like to be a part of that. And that is all I got for CAR updates. Leslie?
Sounds like a lot. RPA. Oh my goodness. I'd almost forgotten. Anyway, just a couple of things for me. I've been spending a little bit of time streaming, if you will. And the other night watched a Netflix documentary called Feminists, What Were They Thinking? And it is a woman who in the 70s took photographs of women that were in, New York, San Francisco, that were part of the artistic and, creative movement that really is the foundation for a lot of what really WomanUP is today. And, I've often said we're all prisoners of our own generation. And I don't like the word prisoners, but I'll say we're all products of our own generation. And you can kind of, adopt all the new stuff, but there's something about, the first 10 to 20 years of your life that really stick with you. And I just recommend it, especially for you, most of the women that they interviewed that were in the book, right, at the time are now in their, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and just having the perspective of what life was like then. And I think Lupe and I talked about this a couple months ago on Coffee and Conversations. It wasn't like it is today. And I think that really has kind of formed some of the strong feelings that you have, and the embracing the term feminist that my group has. And it's because of what the world was like at that time. So I recommend it just as a little bit of a history about where we've been. And actually, after seeing that, we watched the movie 9 to 5, right, with Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda and Dolly Parton. And that movie came out in 1980. So it was a real a trip down memory lane, right? So there's that. And then the other thing on my mind is I'm so looking forward to the conversation that I'll be having on Wednesday, December 1st with Vicki Carpenter. And many of you know Vicki. She's such an incredible realtor and force in her community. And I've always felt close to Vicki because we're both Swedish, and she's from Chicago. My mother was from Chicago, and she unfortunately lost, but for many years was married to the absolute love of her life. And the theme of Coffee and Conversations on December 1st is going to be love. And I thought kind of getting into the holidays and talking about what a healthy relationship looks like, because we've both been on the other side of not so healthy, and just really sharing the joy of the season and gratitude for healthy relationships with wonderful men, who have changed our lives. So that's really what's on my mind. I'll close with something one of my daughters said, and it was, I'm not going to date any man that isn't at least of the quality level of my girlfriends, right? And so you look at WomanUP, we set a very high bar. Don't go below it. You just don't do that. So anyway, thanks for letting me share those things.
I love that you also had an Izzy-ism earlier.
Oh yes, my 3.5-year-old told her mother, "Mommy, I broke all your rules, so now you don't have them anymore." I thought, I'm really happy to have a granddaughter that's breaking all the rules. That's
yes,
really
for her. And how she just thinks that, well, she broke it, it doesn't exist anymore, right?
We're done, Mom. Don't worry about them.
Don't worry about that rule anymore. I love that so much. Well, speaking of breaking through and really just lighting a fire under others and look at things differently, I'm so excited for all of you to meet our special guest. So Serina Lowden here.
Serina.
Round of applause. Let me read just a little bit about her before we dig in. For those of you who are at Inman Connect, you recognize this brilliant leader. She was actually in a conversation with Sarah and Barb Betts. So Serina is a broker owner of All City Homes. She offers more than 18 years of real estate experience in traditional sales, REO foreclosures, short sales, and commercial. Serina's ultimate goal is to redefine, improve, and empower the community by respecting and appreciating what makes people different in terms of age, gender, ethnicity, religion, disability, sexual orientation, education, and national origin. Woo! Gets me all warm and tingly. Her mission is to empower communities through home ownership, create meaningful experiences, and impact the community through social responsibility. Welcome, Serina.
Wonderful.
Good morning. What a warm welcome. Wow. When you read it like that, I feel kind of good.
You
was a
should
lot.
feel good.
Thank
Woo woo.
you.
Well, you're doing good things, right? That is a purpose-driven brokerage.
Yep.
Rena, that's amazing. And that's the one thing, as you mentioned, Deborah, our conversation at Inman, that was the one thing that really stuck with me was how you grew and started and used that mission to drive you to being this leader that you are sitting here with us today. So can we hear a little bit about the story and the journey and how you got here?
Yeah, well, let's see. I'll kind of take you back when I started real estate. Is that okay?
Please
Yes.
do. We like origin stories here.
Okay. So this, I started, first of all, I didn't even want to be in real estate, to be quite honest with you. My father-in-law was in sales, ex-husband was in sales, blah, blah, blah. And I got into real estate really because I wanted to provide a lifestyle for my children. I had 4 kids, and just create a lifestyle where I'm able to be there with them and attend all of their sports and engagements and things like that, right? And so my father-in-law at the time talked me into getting my real estate license. I was like, oh, I guess I'll do it. I need to make some kind of money and stay home with my kids, because I was a stay home with my children the first part of their life. So I got my real estate license. And during that time, I moved from the city. I moved to a very rural area called Calaveras County. And my husband and I, at the time, we bought about 8 acres. My best friend moved right next door to me. So we had about 20 acres together.
Oh my goodness.
And yes, so it was amazing. So I ended up getting my real estate license, and it was so rural. My best friend was from the Bay Area like me. She didn't like it. So she ended up moving back to the Bay. Discovery Bay is where she moved. And I stayed there a little bit longer. I moved after that. But she said, Serena, I hate to leave you, but I can't stay here anymore. It's just too far out. Yeah. I said, I know, me too. I got to leave too. So she asked me to put her house on the market. She was my very first client. And when I put her house on the market, she was so happy that her house sold so quickly. This was probably back in 2000 and I would say 6 or 7. She was so happy to have her house sold and to be able to move back where her family was located. And that just brought the joy to my heart, right? And so when I worked in the county of Calaveras, it was pretty tough. I'll be really honest, it was tough. I think I was, from my knowing, I was probably one of the only minorities realtors up there. And so I knew that I would do great because that was in my blood. I grew up kind of, not having much at all. And my mom just taught me how to work hard and go out there and get it. And so being one of the only few minorities out there, it didn't bother me at all. And it's funny because I raised my kids the same way. Like, my kids can go to any country right now, they will fit right in. They won't have a problem because I've taught them that, right? When you're taught that, it's easier. So I worked very hard in Calaveras County. I ended up moving back to the city myself. I ended up going to a big brokerage, and then a market crash. So when I lived in the rural area, I worked super hard. I mean, I bust my butt up there and I did very well. And it was great. Moved back to the city, went to a big brokerage, and then a market crashed. So then I had to work hard again. When I first came to the city, back to the city, I couldn't believe agents were just putting signs up and selling homes. I mean, like pictures with hands in the pictures and body parts. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm working my butt off, and you guys just
body parts? Wait. What do you mean body parts?
I don't know if we want to know.
Arms, legs, hands, fingers in the picture, picking your nose, that kind of stuff. So the market crashed.
Not caring.
Not caring, right? So the market crashed and I had to work hard again. I mean, I've always worked hard in this business, is my point. No matter what the situation was, I've always worked hard. So coming back to the city, it was different, culture shock. I'm now in a different world now. And I remember sitting on my bed one day saying, oh my gosh, I see all these agents still doing business, although everyone was complaining, the market's crashing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I still see homes moving and homes being sold. So I prayed one day. I remember praying. I'm like, I'm just going to just tie these shoes up and I'm just going to just run. And I did the same thing I did in the rural area. I did the same thing here and I worked my butt off. And so Then the market shifted again. I made a mistake. I had all my eggs in one basket, did all the foreclosures. Then I have to shift again and recreate my database and work hard. So I've always worked hard in this business. I know a lot of people have too. It's just my story's a little different for me, just because I've kind of shifted 3 different situations and 3 different reasons that most people don't go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so being at the big brokerages, I've sold, I was selling about 250, 300 deals a year. That kind of got burnt out. I've made a great income, and I just got to a point in my life. I got divorced after 26 years. I'm newly engaged. I get
Oh,
married.
congratulations.
Thank you. Kids are older, and I decided that there's a point in my life right now where I want to create prosperous agents. I've already done a lot. I've sold a lot. I've made a lot. I want to enjoy life. I want to travel, and I want to enjoy my new fiance. So my goal now is a little bit different. I wanted to create a brokerage where I can help other agents create the life that they want to have, whatever that may be. And so I asked myself, how can we do this? What's needed? What was missing at the brokerages that I was at? Not that I didn't like them, but what was missing, right?
Right.
And so my business partner, Roy Machado, and I thought, well, you know what? Everyone pays for all these different systems. You have your FSBOs, your expireds, your distressed property portals. So we decided, let's provide a service for everyone. No one has to pay all these different fees. Let's just provide it for everyone. And what else is missing? Culture. Everyone truly, not everyone, but there's a lot of people out there who want to work with people maybe they relate with. Could be whatever the case may be, right? So how do we create a company where we can provide that for everyone and also be in the community, right? And so that was another thing we kind of created. We wanted to make sure that we were a true diverse company, and built that relationship with everyone. It didn't matter what your background, race was, religion. We want you to walk through our doors and feel comfortable and have a relationship, not only with our clients, but even with each other, right?
Yeah.
I want you to be able to come talk to me if there's a problem about something, and know that I'm going to be there for you every step of the way, and we can work through it. I've been through all kinds of different scenarios, and I made it, and I'm not mad at anyone. I love everyone. And when you have that mindset, life is easier, it's better, right? And so the other part of that is the community. I know how to make money. I really do. My mom did a pretty good job. We grew up poor, but certain words that she told me stuck, right? And I know how to make it. I've survived different situations. I mean, I walked away from a ranch at 26-year marriage with just my 2 girls, right? And I started from scratch. And when the market crashed, I started from scratch. And so,
Serina, what did you do in that period? I'm just curious, when you said you were working your tail off, what did that look like? Were you knocking on doors?
You know what? So my 2 girls were younger. They were probably about 4 and 5. I couldn't really afford daycare because I had 2 older boys. They were in junior high. And what I did, honestly, I really just blocked out all negative. If a family member, a friend called me and said anything, I love you guys, but I'm gonna call you back. I had to protect my space and my mind,
Right.
and eliminate all negative. And I didn't listen to all the people talking about the market's crash, it's bad, it's this and that. I didn't listen to that. I said, well, you know what? Maybe you're right. But in my head, I'm like, no, it's good for me. It's good for me. And I really did open houses. I was doing open houses outside of my area. I mean, at least 40 minutes outside of my area. I didn't know this particular area, it drew me in. It was about 40 miles away. I took my girls with me sometimes. I was doing open houses in the rain. Nothing stopped me from hitting my goals. I was very consistent. And I knew that if I focused on one thing, I would be okay. And that's what I did. It was really open houses.
Okay.
Outside of that, it was short sales. A lot of agents didn't want to do short sales. People used to tell me, oh, you're crazy for doing those. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But I have like 8 deals in the pipeline. They're all going to close. I never said, I don't know if it's going to work out. No, they're all going to close. Every last one of them. Because you know what? I need them all to close. I have no option. There's no option. There's no option. Failure is not an option.
There's
Eminem
no
said
plan
that.
B.
That's what Eminem said. That's one of my favorite quotes from him. And so, you know, I just wanted to also create a space of educating the community. You know, at this point, I know how to make an income. I know how to sell. But what's missing? Educating the community. There's some communities that I grew up in as a child that may not be able to buy today or next year. But if we come from a place of social responsibility, it is also our job to educate, you know, and yeah, we all want a commission and all that stuff, but what happened to helping and educating the community? Maybe one of those persons will buy one day. Maybe their children will. Who cares? Just educate. And when you have that mindset, things just start flowing down, blessings start pouring. It may not come from that community. It's probably going to come from somewhere else. It may come from a friend or a lender. But if you're out there doing what's right, educating the community, teaching generational wealth, teaching, you know, these adults and whoever how to build and leave legacy to their family and financial literacy, everything else will
Such a
flow.
great message.
You're singing to me, Serina.
I know.
Damn.
You know, it's like you gotta say it. I have to say this without like shedding a tear because it's really true. It's like there's a lot of people that just don't get it and they just don't understand. And then we can understand, yeah, we might not get a sell out of that, but that wasn't never the goal. The goal was to educate. The goal was to help build generational wealth. Blessings will come everywhere else.
That's right. But it's a huge opportunity. I'm so glad you're sharing that wisdom with this community because we have an imperative in this industry to share the information, share our history, share the reasons why home ownership is so important. It is more than a roof. It is wealth. It is financial stability. It is social, economic. It's all of the things, and it's family. So I love what you just shared with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Serina, one of the things we wanted to hear about is your team and when you knew it was time to start your own brokerage with your team and why you chose to go with Side. So tell us that part of your story.
Okay, so I kind of felt I hit a roadblock for some reason. I just felt that there was something missing in the business. And so I just said, you know what, I've made a footprint myself. I've been with the big brokerages, but you know what, I made a footprint for myself, right? And so I said, how can I help other agents leave footprints? So I thought about the different things that are needed to be successful in the business. And I just told myself one day, you know what, it's time for me to start a brokerage. Although that had been on my vision board for a few years, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then I hooked up with my business partner and I said, hey, I think it's time for me to start my own brokerage. And he's like, me too. So we got together and we kind of talked about all the things that were missing from where we both were. And we opened up our brokerage and we wanted to create a space that everyone felt safe and happy and comfortable and build good culture. So that was really it. And my whole mind is like, you know, I want to start speaking and touching lives and creating a space for other agents to make whatever they want to make in their career. So that's kind of how it kind of came, you know, just me stepping back a little bit and helping others. So that means, yep, Serina, you're referring your business to your agents and you're helping them be prosperous as they want to within their own life. What was the second part of that?
When you knew it was time to go to the next level and create your own
Side.
brokerage, that piece.
Yeah, so that's really how it kind of came about, was just kind of felt I just hit a ceiling of what else can I do? You know, I mean, I was helped a lot and even as a child, and it's time for me to do the same. You know, I'm in a position that I can. And that's when I knew it was time for me to start a brokerage, pretty much.
So what did Side offer that attracted you to that model?
Oh, gosh. So when we started our brokerage, I was a broker of record. I was doing all the auditing. I'm really big on compliance. I don't want any DRE issues. I audit the files. I review things. I'm just big on compliance. I don't want anyone to get in, potential lawsuit. So I was doing all of that. I was in sales. And one thing that was missing from our brokerage was the tech side of it. At the time, we honestly just couldn't afford to bring in management, I guess I'll say, in tech and fork out, a couple $100,000 a year. And so I ended up meeting Kelly one day, and I was introduced by a friend of mine, and she told me the entire story about Site, what they do, their management, their tech, their back end support, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Are you serious? Like,
It's too good to be true.
Support? Yeah, and we can just pay per deal and not have to pay a salary. That was big for us too. And we thought about it. I thought about it. I went to San Francisco and met Guy. Once I met Guy, though, it was a wrap.
Exactly. He does that to people.
He's our guy gal.
Right. So in order for us to grow, we were missing that tech side, the back end support. That was one of the main reasons why we joined Site. And it's been great ever since. I mean, we feel like we have, like our agents, they have an assistant and staff from All City Homes, and they also have assistants and staff from Site. So it's like an assistant within an assistant, right? Our technology, our presentations is kind of like you go to Starbucks, you know what you're going to get, you know what type of service you're going to get. Everything is pretty much across the board. They've helped create a standard procedure for us. When you hear of All City Homes, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a phenomenal listing presentation, phenomenal buyer presentation. You're going to get quality service. We love you. We want to help you. Want to help your community. And Site has allowed us to do that by handling the back end of the brokerage.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and I remember you shared this, and we've heard this from a few other Site partners, that they really do allow you to focus on your lane, what's most important to you in the mission of your brokerage, which is so key, especially because you really focus on relationships and community. And one of the things that you said at Inman Connect, which I know lots of people wrote down and was actually written about in recaps, was your passion for helping people create generational wealth. Like, this is having a passion for future generations, right? Regardless of what happens in the moment. I mean, you've already said that, right? Is such an incredible leadership trait and a company core value, right? Like, really having that. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about, first of all, why it's so important to you, right? What you're seeing where you are, because you're in California, which is not an inexpensive place to live.
Mm-hmm.
But really, one of the things we love to do in the show, Serina, is help people see themselves do the work that you've done. So how can we all, what's the first step or the second step that we can all do to kind of lean into this mindset as leaders?
Well, one thing I would say is we do buyer workshops. Right? We do buyer workshops every single month. Whether one person shows up, 10 people or 20. And these workshops are advertised everywhere, right? Whether it's low income, high income, they're for everyone. But most people who do come are first time buyers. They don't know, they're uneducated with the buying process. They're uneducated with the loan process. I mean, everything that has to do with buying a home, they just don't know. And so I would recommend to just get into the community wherever you're at and just offer a workshop. I mean, we're all doing it by Zoom now anyways, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
and have the purpose of educating the community. You can't go into this thinking you're going to get a bunch of buyers. You have to go into this educating the community, teaching the community about home ownership and why it's so important, teaching it towards even minority groups, minorities, just period, people of color. We all know what NAR has put out, right? As far as the statistics on home ownership,
Yeah,
there's a big gap. that gap that's, way down here, this percentage of people of color, they just don't know.
Yeah.
And in California, it's even worse.
It is.
Yep.
And so, some people take that, it's not nothing that's offended to be said or get offended by it, because this is the truth, right?
Yeah.
We have to help these people down here, right? That need to get into home ownership and want to get in home ownership. So if you're thinking that and you're out there and you're educating the community and you're hosting these courses every month, it will help. People will know that, oh my God, this person cares about me. They're not going to care where you came from or who you are. They just want someone to help them, teach them, right? So I would say get involved with your community. Maybe join a different chapters, organizations. There's the Realtist, it's African American Association of Realtors. There's NAREP. There's ARIA. But when you join these organizations, join to truly help.
Yeah.
You don't want to join just to say that I'm a part of something. Get involved in the community. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
No. I just wanted to kind of tack on to that, because I agree with everything you just said. And I think we also have a program under my department at CAR that's devoted to giving the tools to realtors to be the best person out there with the information about down payment assistance programs, about closing cost assistance programs, about low to moderate income lending programs, about saving for a down payment, about the myths around all of those things. And it's called our Steps Toward Homeownership program. And Serina, you need to be on there. Because we always
Yes, she does.
we always have a realtor voice.
I would love to.
Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, I love it when things connect like that. Well, and I think
a huge connection. So
yeah, and I think
that
that's the
in
point.
chat.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Is that we hear things like do a buyer seminar or a buyer workshop, and people go, gosh, is that the place where I should spend my time and my resources and that focus, right? Because they're thinking about profits over people.
Right.
And I think consistently you have the narrative in the right order, people over profits, and you are still prospering and there's blessings flowing all over the place because you're putting people first. It reminds me, I don't remember which one of the weekly conversations it was in, but it was one of the kind of recaps around building wealth and how there's the property over Prada hashtag. I don't know if you've seen that, Serina.
Haven't.
But there actually are focused hashtags trying to help the younger generation, future generations recognize that property over product is the mindset. Right. Like that handbag that you're going to spend thousands of dollars on is going to be out next year, and everyone is going to know that it's out next year versus putting that money aside in towards property. And I think it's a great testament to that people over profits, right? You can plant those seeds for them. Like, don't spend your money on
that perfectly. People over profits. That's the mindset. And I mean, just think about it. We have veterans, women-owned, LGBTQ. I mean, there's so many different organizations that you can truly get involved with. There's different chambers you can get involved with. But like I said, people over product, right? People over money, I guess I'll say, to what you're tapping in on what you said, Deborah.
Yeah. That's
the mindset. And if you have that mindset and you're out there truly helping, everything else will flow. Right? You just can't go money, and then you have to go, help people, then money comes. Not let's go get money, and then people, it works for a minute, but then it starts to go away after a while.
Right.
You don't want that to happen, but it does. And so but yeah, get involved with the different chambers, get involved with different groups, different organizations. Even if you're not a veteran, get involved. Doesn't matter. Just kind of get involved in the community and show some social responsibility as realtors and brokers. Everything else will flow.
You've brought a powerful perspective. Going through those 4 cycles in your business and also in the market. But going back, we love the origin story, but we also love to know, kind of to give back to the next generation what you wish you had known prior to opening up your own brokerage. And, what you would like to mentor on, because we're big proponents of mentorship in the WomanUP community. And so I think it kind of intertwines those lessons.
I really, knowing the different, I guess, organizations that are out there that are available to help. I didn't know a lot about ARIA. I didn't know a lot about NAREP or the road test, to be quite honest with you. I didn't even hear about road tests until several years down the road. I just didn't know. And I think that if we're taking social responsibility, even in that aspect, that should be kind of taught and spoke on when you get your real estate license. Yeah. I kind of think that if I'd have known those different organizations, I would have gotten more involved earlier on. When I worked in Calaveras County, I never even knew about those different organizations, and kind of having some extra support and help would have been more at peace for me, and just kind of felt that I do have a source of someone to help. And when agents get their real estate license, it should really be told. There's WomanUP groups, there's veteran groups, there's Rotus, there's NAREP. I recommend that you do your research in the LGBTQ community. Research these communities and get involved. I think that should be expressed as soon as you get your real estate license. So that was missing for me.
Curriculum.
Right.
Get out there.
Yeah. I mean, and this is a great tip for all of the broker owners out there, right? That we come to the table and we talk about recruiting, right? Attracting new people to our organization. Serina's word here is a tip. Add this to your new agent orientation. This is an opportunity for you to ask people, what is important to you, right? Connecting your agent's values to organizations in the industry. And my goodness, all you need to do is message Sarah. The initiatives in Sarah's department under her purview cover so many of these areas. Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. Like, you could just basically get like, okay, Sarah's got an initiative for you. Like, let's get you plugged in, because that's a great new agent orientation bullet point. I love that idea.
Yeah, that is.
Go ahead, Serina.
I was going to say, Deborah, that's a good point. When you're recruiting your agents and you have them come to your team, I mean, everyone's talking about, goals, numbers, goals. Let's talk about what's important. What's important to you?
That's the people over profits again.
Right.
That's our theme.
Okay, Sarah, I'm sorry to interrupted you.
No, and I would say know the history, right? That there are reasons why these organizations exist.
Yes.
And there's a history, and it's not always
pretty,
positive, and it's not pretty. But if you don't know about the past, you can't change it.
Right. Exactly.
Forward. Right. And it'll fuel you. Right. Yep. I mean, Farrah Wilder on the team here at CAR, she's listening. She's like, you're speaking my language. Hi, right. Farrah.
And look at this group, the WomanUP group. I mean, this was just established a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, can you imagine if we had this years ago? I mean, this is just,
watch out, world.
Right. I mean, there's so much power here. And it's more than power. It's like strength, right? It's just strengthening us as women. This organization, even WomanUP, I didn't know about WomanUP years ago. I mean, there's so many things I would have done differently as well as a woman, right? And just
we're all standing on the shoulders of the people that came before us and the women that came before us in this industry, and they've always been there. But to have this focal point where we can share and support and move forward together, it is so powerful. Right.
Even me being in the REO business, I mean, there's not a lot of women at all. No. I mean, especially back in 2009. And, it's tough. You're competing against men that, mostly took over that or had most of the shares in that market. Nothing against them or anything, but we are a woman and we are a WomanUP.
Commercial real estate is still the same way. It's largely it's very male dominated, and there are just some amazing women that have been, trailblazers there. So
I love that. I love that. Well, in our emotional intelligence, that's a conversation we've had so many times here on the show and on stages about how so many women in leadership really have this developed emotional intelligence. And in REOs, in short sales, I mean, that is something you bring to the table that we weren't even talking about then, but you had naturally. Right. And so I love kind of seeing it even back then when we weren't even using that language in the industry.
Right.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Serina, I think we're kind of getting to the part of the program where I'm the one that always gets to ask, do you have any parting words? And it has just been absolutely delightful to meet you. I wasn't able to attend the conference and hear you on stage, but you are just so powerful. And I can't believe you have grown-up children and all the stuff that you've done, because you look like you're, kind of just starting out, but you really have that incredible wisdom, but I don't know, just your enthusiasm is infectious.
Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to meet you here. You're so pretty. All these guys are just so lovely ladies here. What I would want, just take a look at your office. Take a look at yourself. Ask yourself what's important. Just hearing us all here talk about what we're talking about today, and implement change, implement what you feel that you want to do to balance your office, to help balance those statistics out there. Get involved with a different group, regardless what it is, but just go and learn about it. Learn some history. I think you said that, Leslie. Learn the history and the background of these different organizations, and then follow your passion. They're all great, but whatever your passion is and whatever you relate to, take advantage of it. It's there for you, and it's there to help you grow yourself and your company. So.
I love that. The change starts with us.
Right.
Right. And if you follow that advice, it's not work, it's not like a white knuckle, like I've got to go knock on doors. It's like, I love this group and it feeds me. Right. And I grow and they grow, and it's just the way it should be,
Right. And even look at veterans. You have everyone involved with veterans, right? It doesn't, all backgrounds. I mean, whatever that is, just, I don't know. I just have that passion. Just whatever your passion is, it's okay, but figure it out and go for it and make a difference.
Right.
The money's going to come. I'll teach you how to do sales. If anyone out there need coaching or mentoring, call me. I can teach you all that. I can't teach you the passion. You gotta have to come with it.
I can't teach you the passion. Oh, I love that. Well, I have a feeling those of you who are here with us live, you know what I'm going to say, right? We're going to see a lot more of Serina in 2022 and beyond.
100%.
We'll get her plugged into the STEPS program. We'll definitely get you plugged into the mentorship program. I think that you have woven such a divine business model together that has this focus on community and people over profit. And I think that, as we all come out into a new season, we've all realized that being with humans and being around people who care about us as a person is so incredibly important in business.
Right.
And I think your energy and your wisdom has been like a big warm hug today. I'm so very, very grateful that you joined us. I do want to make sure that you see or hear that Michael Estes from your team is here, and he is so proud of you. He says, that's my broker right there. It's always fun. There's so much love for you over on the Facebook group as well. So please, if you've got a moment, go back there. Soak it in, the love for you, for sure.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we're so grateful. And we as a community, yes, we come together live, but a very large portion of our connection is in the replay and in the comments and all of the blog posts and such. So we'll make sure that if you've got questions for Serina, we get them to her. We'll get you connected. Again, make sure you join the mentor group, because She's going to be there soon. I have a feeling. If you have questions on any of the initiatives that Sarah mentioned, either in her recap or the STEPS program, there is a link that she dropped inside the comments. But as always, just let us know and we will get you connected. For those of you who want to get directly connected with Serina, we're going to drop her contact information in the comments in both Zoom and Facebook. We love you all for being here with us, sharing time with us. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we will not be here live next week. We will be with you shopping in the swag shop for WomanUP stuff for the leaders on our lists. We encourage you to join us there. And then also remember, on the 3rd, we have Rita joining us. She has some of the coolest business planning processes out there. So we look forward to seeing you there. As always, we send you off to an amazing weekend. Have a great next week, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Serena.
Thank you so much, Serina.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye, everyone.